question. Unlike some other fantasy authors, which we shall not name, you seem to have a great output in the books and have absolutely no problem in making tetralogy out of trilogies and so on and so on. What would be your like writing ritual from the morning, and how you managed to achieve such a great output?
Well, what you're trying to very politely say is, I finish things. That's what you're trying to say. And I'm allowed to do this because the people who are most often chided for not finishing things are actually people that I know and like, and we get along well. But my ritual, such as it is, or my practice is, I am a writer who does not like to do all my thinking sitting at my keyboard. So what I tend to do is, whenever I get up, I'm very much a late night person, so I usually don't get up until after 10 o'clock in the morning. So I will spend the early part of the day thinking about what I'm going to be working on. And I do that without writing or sitting at a computer, because that allows me a great deal of freedom. I can play with the ideas in my head like a Rubik's Cube. You know, I can spin it this way, spin it that way. I can say, well, what if this happened? And then that might happen, you know, and I can make little paths. And then if I say, no, that's not good, it doesn't feel real. I can just throw it out and start again with another idea. So I will usually spend an hour doing that for every hour that I spend later on actually writing. So as a result, I tend to do that in the morning and the very early afternoon. And then when I am ready, I usually have a fairly good idea of what I'm going to do. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this scene with, say, for instance, since we're talking about these books, I'm going to do this scene between Simon and Miriamel, and it's going to have this basic thing going on. And I will still discover things as I'm writing, because characters will tend to want to be a certain way, or you'll suddenly realize that character would actually say piffle to that, I'm not going to do that, or whatever. But so I sit down with the idea of, I'm going to do this scene and maybe another scene, and I've plotted them out a little bit and tried them many different ways, so that I don't spend most of my time when I'm sitting at the keyboard doing anything but just typing, So I might only type for 2 or 3 hours in a day, but I've spent 2, 3, 4 hours thinking ahead of time. And it took a long time, by the way, to train my family to understand that Dad, lying on his back, staring up at the ceiling, or even sometimes with his eyes closed, is not in fact just goofing off. That is work. I just happen to do my best work horizontal.